Good morning, everybody. How are you today? And welcome. It's wonderful to have you here with me. Just one sec. My apologies. I've got a bit of an infection running through my body, so yeah, challenging times. But how are you today? It's wonderful to have you here and joining in so that we can learn more. And as we learn and understand ourselves more, our external system, our internal system, then we're able to identify areas within that we want to grow and change with and learn. And there's so much that we can do, but we want to just take one thing once a day, one step, so that this time next year things will progress for us. So it's a well-known thing that CPtsd does take time to recover from. So how about I have an attitude of, okay, let's do the best I can as I can, and it does help ease up on feeling the pressure that I've got to have it right today. And if we think about it, from our childhood, we come out of our childhood with that attitude of, I've got to have it right now. And that is a form of trying to keep us safe. But today, good morning, my name's Linda. I'm a complex trauma consultant, and let's do today. How are you? It's beautiful Brisbane, nice and hot at 7 a.m. in the morning. But, I've been out exercising as well, and when I get home, so I enjoy it now. Now, today I want to talk to you about something that's really, really important. I want you to think back when, possibly before you knew you had mental health challenges, okay? And then when they came along, did you feel that this doesn't make sense because this is not who I am, okay? And when you face your challenges each day, do you think this is so frustrating because this is not who I am? And you're right. The mental health challenges are not who we are. They are not our core self. They are not who we are as people. They're a flippin' big interruption to our day at times, okay? So I want to talk to you today about congruence, because if we use it effectively, not only can we use it to help us get our brain back online, but we can use it to help us overcome disorganized attachment, which is what so many of us come through our childhood and have, is disorganized attachment. Now, if you look at disorganized attachment as, I know who I am, okay, so I know who I am as a person, but my mental health challenges keep me going offline and reacting and responding in ways that aren't who I am, then we get the understanding of what congruence is, because we want who I am to line up with what's happening and how we respond and the steps that we take in life. So congruence, the meaning of congruence, is agreement or harmony, compatibility, consistency. And when I looked up the meaning of it, I thought, you know what? This is just so, a lot of the elements that we need and we use as we overcome CPtsd, especially the consistency. So what we want to be doing is building our awareness, increasing our awareness more and more of who I am, in order that we can catch when our brain goes offline, okay? So when we've got no access to our prefrontal cortex, we've got no access to order, to our fine motor skills, so and more. But think about it this way: how often do you run into furniture and end up with bruises, or just, I can be walking through a room and all of a sudden my arm hits something and I'm like, what? But when we do that, we can think, oh, do I need to sit down and see if I'm starting to dysregulate, okay? It's really good stuff. Now, when we know who we are, so when I can answer the question, who am I, I can identify the outer self that I present to the world, the one that where I put a mask on, and I can identify my inner system, my inner self, where and who I am and how I'm hiding that, okay? And we want to bring both of those into a congruent relationship. We want them both to be as one. So not who I had to be to get through the either abuse or lack of nurturing, bullying, etc. So we do our ACEs, and I want to know how I can line these up. Now, depression can be like we're having one-way conversations with ourselves. So we get no feedback, all right? So think about it. When we were children, for some of us, we didn't talk much. We didn't say a lot, but we'd have conversations with ourselves. Now, we all have conversations with ourselves, and we win. And if we have arguments, we win, okay? It's really easy. But what we need to be able to do is allow safe people to give us feedback, but we also need to pull ourselves up and say, hey, I need to take this conversation outside of myself so I can sit and have feedback. And that's why we go to a therapist or a trauma recovery coach, because we need that feedback. We need to know and understand the two-way flow, okay? We also need to be prepared to ask ourselves questions, okay? We can't just accept that every thought that's happening, where it leads, is the truth for who I am. We have to challenge those thoughts in order that we will recognise disorganised attachment, okay? So if I recognise the thoughts that don't align with who I am, then I can turn them around and change them to reflect who I am. I can say things like, well, no, recently one of the things I did was I realised that my thoughts were bullying myself, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's got to stop, that's not going to happen. Healthy questions lead us to have healthier outcomes. So do some journaling as well. Write down your questions and then sit there and reflect and ask, what am I showing people externally? How am I responding internally? And how do I need to make them come together in harmony? Okay? So that I can be my whole self. All right? And for those people who are people of faith, how do I line that up with what I believe and who I am? How do I line that up with fruits of the Spirit? Okay? We have to be able and willing to sit down and ask these questions and have self-reflection, because as children we didn't have healthy things reflected to us, so we have to be prepared to learn what is healthy and what isn't healthy. Sometimes we make less than healthy calls, but if we have external communication happening, we can work together with others, whether it's our kids, whether it's our parents, whether it's our friends. We can have healthy communication, and that helps us not to go into disorganised attachment and feel like the inside of us is all over the shop, okay? And emotional dysregulation, we can feel like that too. It's like, hang on, this isn't who I am, and all of a sudden I'm having emotional reactions, and that's not me, as it, not that you're not emotional, or not that I'm not emotional. It simply means that my prefrontal cortex is online and I can put the emotions in an order, okay, and everything becomes manageable. It is hard work, and we do it one step once a day. We also need to ask, what do I feel for me as opposed to what my mind is saying? Look, our mind can just lead us down the rabbit hole, like monkey mind, all right, all over the place, from one thing to another to another. And what we can do is sit down and do our breathing, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, and go, okay, I'm going to calm the monkey mind down, and I'm just going to relax into who I am. I'm going to reaffirm that I am capable as an adult of putting this into order. whatever the monkey mind is going on and off about. And as I put it into an order, it's going to feel a lot more comfortable, the steps I need to take. So it also gives us courage, because now we know that every step that we put down is manageable. Okay, challenge our thoughts so our emotions and thoughts are connected and consistent. And we want to know that what I'm thinking is producing feelings that are consistent with who I am. We want to know that my feelings are producing thoughts that are consistent with who I am. And when they're not, we need to sit down and go, okay, am I in the stage of emotional dysregulation, or has my brain gone offline? Okay, so remember all the biology and the neurology. When we've been triggered, we go offline and we don't have access to the order. But what we want to do is take the steps that we talked about yesterday and begin to put everything in an order so that we know that everything that we're doing is manageable. Okay? But just one step once a day. We can't do it all at once, but it's the consistency and the willingness to reflect that will help us reorganize our disorganized system. Okay? And look, I feel a lot of hope and a lot of joy going, wow, I can do this. I can reorganize my disorganized system. Okay? And once we do that, we do start feeling like, wow, I can do this. I've got this. I can do this every day, and I can get back on track. And it builds courage into us. Courage to get up and have another go at life tomorrow. And look, and give feedback to other people. Like, jump in a group anywhere and start supporting other people, being their cheer squad, and it helps you become more aware of where you can increase the joy inside of you as well. Okay? Now, this is one of the biggest things that I've yet to learn. Slow down. I've always been in a rush, and I'm learning, and I'm having to teach myself and say, slow down. All right? It helps us if we do slow down. Depression doesn't necessarily make us feel like we're running at the speed of light. But in order to combat it, we do need to slow down and put in, step by step by step, what will work for us and what's manageable today. So, as I talked to you about on Monday, I've been through the last 2 weeks where depression is so insidious, it's so pervasive and takes over just ever so slowly. And because the incremental downward spiral is that incremental, it can be hard to catch straight away. But coming out the other side of depression, it's also incremental. So it's one day, we take steps each day in order to come back into our wholeness, all right? So get rid of disorganized attachment, be organized, everything's manageable. I know what I'm doing each day. Now, what we need to do is slow down in order that we can see the next steps we can take, and in order that we give our brain time, the neurology and the biology, to get back online, okay? If we don't slow down and we're still running at the speed of light, then we'll go offline again really, really easy. And we don't want to do that consistently, okay? Yes, we have to pick ourselves up, but it's worth it. Every step of the way is worth it, okay? And we do help each other. We help each other through being able to share the different pathways that we take in our recovery. All right, that's it for today. Just take some time to ponder one step that could work for you. And one of the things that does help me come back online is exercise, because it increases the oxygen, it increases the blood flow in the brain especially, which is what we need, all right? So think about doing some sort of exercise, even if it's 1 minute once a day, each day. That's 1 minute that you're giving back to your body and your brain in order that it can better serve you in your day-to-day life. All right, thanks for listening today. Have an awesome day if you're in Australia or the Southern Hemisphere, and if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, keep warm because it's freezing over there at the moment. And remember, we're the turtles, we win the race. All right, blessings and dreams, and bye for now.